Hallo zusammen. Looking at the concept of a wall, from a German perspective, a wall is something divisive. But then, in late 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and in 1990, both Germanys reunited to the Germany that we know today. Why do I mention this? Just a few years later, a British band also talked about a wall, but in a very positive way, and from a German perspective that may be unusual, and that has brought me to the idea of, well, you know what, let's make a German lesson based on Oasis. Let's try to translate some of the band members' names to German. Let's imagine what their album titles and some of the song titles may have been in German. And that is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna learn German with Oasis. Let's go. Let's start in every desert's paradise. Die Oase, singular. Die Oasen, plural. Oasis, a living, growing green space within the large vastness of die Wüste, singular. Die Wüsten, plural, the desert. Take it as you want, maybe as a symbol, a sign of die Hoffnung, singular. Die Hoffnungen, plural, the hope. I guess that's what many other Oasis fans around the world have felt like for the past 15 years. And you know, I'm recording this in September of 2025, so it's just been over a year, a little bit over a year, when the brothers reconciled and when the band reunited and they announced that they were gonna tour at least some places, sadly not Germany yet. I personally really love to see the brothers hugging, really enjoying themselves on stage. It's so great to see. Many fans and Britpop lovers alike probably were erstaunt, astounded, and überrascht, surprised about die Versöhnung, singular, die Versöhnungen, plural, the reconciliation of the Gallagher brothers, Liam and Noel. Back in 2009, Noel left Oasis after an anger-filled altercation between the brothers after a show in Paris. And from 2009 to 2024, der Bruder, singular, die Brüder, plural, the brothers, insulted each other and established their own solo careers with quite a few albums each. Noel Gallagher formed the band Hochfliegende Vögel, high-flying birds, for fliegen, to fly, and der Vogel, singular, die Vögel, plural, the bird. While Liam continued with the remaining Oasis members in a rather short-lived band called Perlenauge, beady eye, for die Perle, singular, die Perlen, plural, the pearl, and das Auge, singular, die Augen, plural, the eye. After the disbandment, he started a solo career under his own name as well. Even though both brothers lead the band, it's Noel who writes the vast majority of the band's songs. There isn't a specific German equivalent of the name Noel, which is a French word meaning Christmas, Noel. In German, that would be das Weihnachten, Christmas. Imagine if Germans weren't familiar with the pronunciation of the name Noel. They could technically enunciate the vowel combination OE as the umlaut Ö, because OE is the alternate way to write Ö in German. For Ü, it's UE, and for Ä, it's AE. Don't you worry though, of course, we wouldn't say Nöl, but there actually is another German term that sort of reminds me of that, and that really exists. Nölen, to grumble or to moan. You could also say it means complaining about something in a very dragging, slow way. The name Liam is a form of William, which itself is a form of the German Wilhelm. But whereas both Liam and William are fairly common names in the UK and maybe also other parts of the English world, Wilhelm is an outdated name in Germany. It was highly popular many decades ago, but as you can see here, its popularity gradually decreased in the 20th century. What about the surname Gallagher? Well, there is no particular German equivalent for it, like Miller equals Müller or Smith equals Schmidt. It's an Irish name of Gaelic origin, so we just say Gallagher. The band has had a few different members throughout the years, but two that are especially interesting strictly language learning wise are Gem Archer, which would literally translate to Edelstein Bogenschütze, for der Edelstein, singular, die Edelsteine, plural, Gem, literally noble stone, and der Bogenschütze, singular, die Bogenschützen, plural, the archer, for der Bogen, singular, die Bögen, plural, the bow, and der Schütze, singular, die Schützen, plural, the shooter. And even though it's just a nickname, I guess lots of Oasis listeners or even fans may know Paul Arthurs better under his nickname Bonehead. Knochenkopf, for der Knochen, singular, die Knochen, plural, the bone, and der Kopf, singular, die Köpfe, plural, the head. For someone like me who's like a real music enthusiast, I love music. It's always fascinating to see whenever an artist, or a band for that matter, is able to capture the essence of a certain moment in time. Or in other words, the German Zeitgeist, the Zeitgeist, which is a German loanword in English, by the way. And I guess it's fair to say that Oasis did so incredibly well in the mid-90s. Their first album was Definitiv Vielleicht, definitely maybe, and it's one of those shiny, highly successful debut albums which quickly became one of the defining 90s albums. This album contains some of the band's most popular tracks, including Lebe für immer, Live Forever, with für immer being a literal equivalent of the English forever. Der Überschall, only singular, Supersonic, literally oversound. Zigaretten und Alkohol, cigarettes and alcohol, for die Zigarette, singular, die Zigaretten, plural, the cigarette, and der Alkohol, singular, die Alkohole, plural, the alcohol. Noel was definitely on a roll in the mid-90s because just 1 year later, the band released their second, equally highly praised and successful, influential album, Was ist die Geschichte, Morgenpracht? What's the story, Morning Glory? For die Geschichte, singular, die Geschichten, plural, the story, der Morgen, singular, die Morgen, plural, the morning, and die Pracht, only singular, the glory. Now, morning glory could serve as a playful euphemism for what Germans slangfully call die Morgenlatte, singular, die Morgenlatten, plural, the morning wood, meaning, you know. It could also refer to an atmospheric phenomenon, one that has to do with die Wolke, singular, die Wolken, plural, the cloud. Or it could also refer to a plant, which would be die Pflanze, singular, die Pflanzen, plural. Even if you got a song's meaning or a word slightly wrong, please blick nicht wütend zurück. Don't look back in anger. For die Wut, only singular, anger, and wütend, angry. Zurückblicken, to look back, literally to back look. Manche würden sagen, some might say, lass dich darauf ein, roll with it. For the phrasal expression, sich auf etwas einlassen. To be open to a situation or person and just let it unfold, go with the flow. And if you need to talk to someone, let's hope they also agree to a healing talk, that they talk tonight. Heute Nacht sprechen. The English tonight would become 2 words in German when you really mean this particular upcoming night. Heute Nacht, tonight. Otherwise, you could also say nachts, which means tonight as in at the night in general and not just one specific night. Acquiesce. Zustimmen. Dulden. Denn wir brauchen uns. Wir glauben aneinander. Because we need each other, we believe in one another. Great song. Can't believe that it was a B-side though. The first 2 Oasis albums, they shaped the band. They are the ones that people think of the most when they think of Oasis. But the later albums, they're also really good. The third album was Sei jetzt hier, Be Here Now. Or, more phrasal, Sei im Hier und Jetzt, Be in the Here and Now, which starts with one of my personal favorite Oasis songs. Weißt du, was ich meine? Do you know what I mean? And another song that showcases the public feud in the past years, sort of in a nutshell. Mein großes Maul. My big mouth, for das Maul, singular. Die Mäuler, plural, the mouth, which is not the standard term for it though. Maul is used for animal mouths and also as a negatively connotated term in certain insults, for instance, which can also be self-referential. The standard neutral term would be der Mund, singular, die Münder, plural, the mouth, used for human mouths in general, but not for animal mouths. The English stand by me would be pretty similar in German with only a small swap of words, steh mir bei, or in the sense of bleib bei mir, stay with me. Before the band released their next proper studio album, they put out a B-side, a rarities compilation in 1998 called Der Meisterplan, the master plan, for der Meister, singular, die Meister, plural, the master, and der Plan, singular, die Pläne, plural, the plan, auf der Schulter von Riesen stehend, standing on the shoulder of giants, with one of Noel's very personal drug abuse coping tracks, Gaspanik, gas panic, for das Gas, singular, die Gase, plural, the gas, and die Panik, the panic. Great track. The fifth album followed in 2002 with the title Heidnische Chemie, heathen chemistry, for the noun der Heide, singular, die Heiden, plural, the heathen, with a diphthong in this case. EI doesn't become EI, but it's I, Heide. You could also use it as an adjective, heidnisch, as well as die Chemie, mostly singular, the chemistry. This record features Hör auf, dir dein Herz auszuheulen, stop crying your heart out, which would be a literal translation, das Herz, singular, die Herzen, plural, the heart. Idiomatically, Germans would rather phrase it like Hör auf, dir die Augen auszuheulen, stop crying your eyes out, for heulen, to howl, meaning to cry heavily, for weinen, to cry. Das Auge, singular, die Augen, plural, the eye. Sometimes in order to make amends in a proper way, I guess it's not the best thing to rush that, but to do it Stück für Stück, little by little, piece by piece, that is. Album number 6 from 2005 is called Glaube der Wahrheit nicht, Don't Believe the Truth, for Glauben, to believe, and die Wahrheit, singular, die Wahrheiten, plural, the truth. Arguably, this album didn't have such big standout tracks, but many equally awesome deeper cuts, for instance, like Ich schätze, Gott denkt, dass ich Abel bin. Guess God thinks I'm able, which is quite literal or a bit more daily German-ish. Ich schätze, Gott hält mich für Abel. I guess God assumes I'm able, for der Gott, singular, die Götter, plural, the God, and denken, to think. The, as of early September of 2025, most recent Oasis album was released in 2008. Grab deine Seele aus, dig out your soul, for ausgraben, to dig out, literally to outdig, and die Seele, singular, die Seelen, plural, the soul. One of my personal favorites is on this album. It has a tendency to get overlooked when it comes to the singles of Oasis, but I just love it, especially the harmonic progression, in the pre-chorus, the drive of the song, the energy and everything, the production, the solo, the bridge, it's just gold. I'm talking about Der Schock des Blitzes, the shock of the lightning, for der Schock, singular, die Schocks, plural, the shock, and der Blitz, singular, die Blitze, plural, the lightning. Liebe ist eine Zeitmaschine auf einem silbernen Bildschirm. Love is a time machine upon a silver screen. For die Liebe, mostly singular, the love. Die Zeitmaschine, singular, die Zeitmaschinen, plural, the time machine. And der Bildschirm, singular, die Bildschirme, plural, the screen, literally the image screen. Mir läuft die Zeit davon. I'm out of time. For davonlaufen, to run out of something. And die Zeit, singular, die Zeiten, plural, the time. In a more musical sense, you could also interpret it as in Ich bin nicht im Takt. I'm not playing in time. For der Takt, singular, die Takte, plural. Alright, so I guess that's it, right? No, not really, of course. Let's talk about Der Elefant im Raum, the elephant in the room. Die Wundermauer, singular, die Wundermauern, plural, the Wonderwall, for das Wunder, singular, die Wunder, plural, the wonder, and die Mauer, singular, die Mauern, plural, the wall. In this case, die Wundermauer would be a feminine noun. But why is that? Well, with German compound nouns, it's the last part's gender that determines the compound word's entire gender. And since die Mauer, the wall, is feminine, the entire compound word is also feminine, die Wundermauer. So I'd like to agree with Liam in saying, quote, a Wonderwall can be anything. It's just a beautiful word. It's like looking for that bus ticket and you're trying to fucking find it, that bastard, and you finally find it and you pull it out, fucking mega. That is me Wonderwall. Do you know what I mean? Wisst ihr, was ich meine? I really enjoyed making this video, like I said, as a fan of music and Oasis in specific. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you learned something with it. And that being said, definitely tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.